People who ignored a huge red flag because the person was extremely attractive. What happened next? A fake pregnancy scare to keep me from leaving. Whoa, memory activated. Drove all night once to retrieve a friend from the beach. His crazy girlfriend had faked a pregnancy to keep them together, but then got mad enough to tell him she'd lied. He called me. I told him to get a separate room and do not speak to her. 3, be there by morning. That drive home, never seen anyone so shattered. We have never once spoken of that day. Just glad he later found someone really nice. I spent 2 years convincing myself that her lack of empathy was just a mysterious personality. Spoiler alert, it wasn't mystery. She was just a sociopath with great hair. My bank account and my therapist are still recovering. I wish I would be a sociopath with great hair. She threw a shoe at me once and I just brushed it off. 2 months later, she tried to hit me with her car. That escalated quickly. No one ever talks about the shoe-to-car pipeline. He said all his exes were crazy. Guess who was the crazy one? If everywhere you go smells like shit, check your own shoe. Perhaps this phrase would have benefited him. If you run into an asshole in the morning, you ran into an asshole. If you run into assholes all day, you're the asshole. Raylan Givens, Justified. Met her at a friend's birthday party. We got drunk, hooked up, exchanged numbers, planned a first date the next week. She was 3.5 hours late to the date. I should have gone home, but she said she was on her way, and she was really hot. So I drank 3 cappuccinos, peed 4 times, and read a week's worth of news. Once she finally arrived, we had an amazing date, and even better sex than the first night we met. We started dating, and it turns out chronically late was her baseline setting, along with mysterious disappearing acts like going to Home Depot to pick up some paint and coming back 4 hours later without her phone. Or running out of a restaurant during brunch because she suddenly had to retrieve a paper file from her office on a Saturday. She attributed it to magical thinking, whatever the fuck that means. 6 months later, I find out that magical thinking is a poor cover story for having a job as a prostitute. She slept with someone else whilst on vacay, in our Airbnb where everyone could see. Then when I broke it off with her, she destroyed my car and apartment, and when I caught her in the act, she tried to say it was because I assaulted her. I learned a lot from that relationship. Big kicker? This all happened for a relationship that didn't even last for 2 weeks. Yay! Not me, but my cousin. Everyone could see she was a massive red flag, but he didn't care since she was so beautiful and he was so in love. She got him to let her have access to his bank account. While he was at work, she took all his savings and his laptop and then disappeared. $45,000 gone. He tried blaming everyone else for not warning him, but all he got was a slap to the face from his mom. A decade later, he's still salty about this. I have to add, he did nothing for almost a year, expecting her to come back. By then, she erased herself on every social media platform. She talked very animatedly about her UFO encounter the first time we hung out. We broke up after about a year, and she started telling her friends and coworkers that I had sexually assaulted her, stalked her, and might show up to her workplace with a gun. This is so stupid. There were a few yellow flags, but the red one that made me pay attention was he asked what I had done that day, and I said, "Oh, and my daughter went out to buy scented candles." And he asked, "Hey, Jay did you get?" I told him and said, "Yeah, LDK if I like this one, but the kid wanted it." And he went fully weird. "Oh, she's in charge then? You just let her spend your money? Why would you let her get it if you don't like it? It's a fucking scented candle. Just fuck off." Turns out he had a few assault charges, and I'm glad he never met my kid. Oh God. I dated this girl who was a 10 on the crazy scale and also maybe 9 on the hot scale. Oh my effing goodness. There are just too many stories to share, so I'll pick one. We were at Bali and we had an argument. She threw a table lamp at me while I wasn't looking, and it hit my cheek when I did look. Blood gushed out like a damn faucet. I didn't speak after that. I went to the bathroom to wash my wound and went to sleep after. I was awoken in the middle of the night to her tending to my wound, saying how sorry she was. I felt super afraid during that moment. It felt like a horror movie scene. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Edit. So in case anyone is wondering, yes, I still have the scar on my cheek, but it had since moved further away from my nose and closer to the side of my head. Yes, I did get away from her eventually. The woman I dated after her was the nicest and most amazing person I have ever had the chance of loving. Yes, I have a lot of stories about this woman that would shock you all, but I don't really want to relive it all now. Finally, dating this woman taught me that looks ain't all that. Yes, physical attraction is important, but personality and being a nice and decent person goes a long way towards having happiness and being in a healthy and fulfilling relationship. She eventually tried to kill me like she did her ex. She told me her ex was self-defense. Now I know better. His mood switched instantly, went from super sweet to angry real fast. I was shocked. He was so cute though and romantic. Anyways, led to yelling, then verbal abuse. He promised it would never get to physical abuse because his dad abused his mom and hated him for that. Left before that could happen. It's hard once you stay around, waiting to see if these red flags ever go away. Spoiler, they don't. Run. After seeing each other for a couple months, he revealed to me that his ex-girlfriend was pregnant with his child. 8 months pregnant. He knew the whole time. They were working it out. She stole my car and $1,200, then told the cops I stole the car and gave her the money. I got arrested and had to prove that it was my fucking car and my fucking money. Sex was incredible. I realized that attractiveness doesn't outweigh being dumb. At least it makes the lies easy to identify. I was told he got the scratches on his back from walking through the woods at night. LOL. If you have to convince yourself a red flag isn't a big deal, it already is. She hit me full force across the face with a hotel room Bible while straddling me naked. Finally got together after she was on and off with another guy I knew. He warned me of the crazy and I thought, she's normal around me. One fight and I knew I had to get out. Never been yelled at or gaslit like that before, and was over something so trivial it left me speechless. We were going to be apart for a few weeks because of her schooling and family situation. Her last words to me were that she loved me and that we were 100%. We were together for 2 years and close friends for 5. Ghosted. Never heard from her again. She had someone reach out to me a few weeks in and say it was going to be longer than expected and that she'd explain everything. I waited for months. Meanwhile, she had started dating her now husband 2 weeks into her time away and was engaged a year later. Like 3 weeks into this, I spent my last dime as a broke college student on a care package that I sent her. She was already fucking some other dude. Don't ignore the red flags, guys.